Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, is with us. Senator, how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me.
Let's get your take on all of this. To me, it's a window of opportunity. Their air defenses are down. The president has been clear what his policy is. They can't have a nuclear weapon. He's been saying it since 2011 and hundreds of times since. It seems like the moment is here.
Yeah, the forever war is started in 1979 when the Ayatollah replaced the Shah. They held our embassy personnel hostage. Since 1979, Iran has been waging war through Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis against Israel. They have American blood on their hands. So that's the war I'd like to end. And if you don't believe Iran would use a nuclear weapon to destroy Israel, you're not listening to what they're saying. If you don't believe they would use a nuclear weapon to come after us, the infidel, you're not listening to what they say. November the 4th in Iran is commonly referred to as Death to America Day. In 1987, they made that a holiday. That was the day they took over our embassy. We have a military for a reason, to protect our way of life, protect our homeland, and protect our allies. You know, when my dad was drafted in World War II, the term was called the duration. We were going to fight till we beat the Nazis, took Berlin and took Tokyo, and we did. In this war, we're not going to have ground troops, and it won't last forever because we have the capability to destroy the Iranian nuclear program working with Israel fairly quickly. We're down to one site, deep underground, about a half a mile under the ground. We have technology and bombs and capability. Israel doesn't. It is my advice to President Trump, help Israel finish the job, go all in to destroy the last nuclear site. If we take this program on and we don't finish it, it will be a disaster. So let's finish the job.
I agree with you, and I actually think that the Israelis have done a spectacular job on their own. Now, we have to factor in that Iran and Iran through their proxies, and I've been to Israel a number of times, as you have been there many, many times, many times more than me. I mean, I went to one border town with Gaza at the time, and I think 2015 had been hit with 10,000 rockets in 10 years. They have withstood Houthi rebel rockets, Hezbollah rockets, Islamic Jihad rockets, Hamas rockets, Quds forces, Iranian Revolutionary Guards forces, helped develop the October 7th attack against Israel. They provided the weaponry for that. They've been fomenting terror, not just in the region, but around the world. There's not a single country that wants to come to Iran's defense. And we now find ourselves with a window of opportunity to forever remove any possibility they'd have this weapon of mass destruction married to their ideology. Now, how is that any different than taking out Soleimani, al-Baghdadi and associates, or beating the caliphate? I don't see that as inconsistent at all.
Well, I think you're dead right. The primary job of any commander-in-chief, president of the United States, is to protect us, our homeland, from existential threats and to protect our allies. And we have no better allies than the state of Israel. Iran has 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium that could make about a dozen bombs if they went to the last mile. They're at 60%. To get to 90% is weeks, not years. They have one civilian reactor. They haven't used any of the enriched uranium to run that reactor. They get their fuel from Russia. So this is weapon-grade material in large quantity. They've been doing this for decades, and their goal is to develop a nuclear weapons force to use as part of their ideology. I don't think Rocket Man's going to attack America. I don't believe Putin's ambition is to destroy Israel, destroy the United States. Nor do I believe that about China. I think they're mercantile. I think they're an adversary. But I believe this regime is founded on a religious ideology that makes them religious Nazis. They're being told by their version of Islam to destroy the Jewish state, to drive out the infidels, and to purify Islam. They're not elected. It's a theocracy. They mean what they say. 4 presidents have said Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It will be Donald J. Trump who makes that a reality, period. All we need to do is help Israel finish the last site and wait and see what happens after that.
Is that in your mind, and obviously protecting our interests in the region, is that basically the job that you want President Trump to accomplish? For example, there are other targets. I mean, most of their refineries are on this one island, and you could wipe out any ability of them in the future to make money. Uh, the Israelis could do that on their own. They don't need our help or assistance for that. Certainly, they can knock out their gas-powered power grid, and the entire country will be without power. That's another easy target because the Israelis own the sky over Iran. So once the nuclear component is out of the way, I guess at that point it's going to be up to Israel what they decide to do in their conflict with Iran. And frankly, with all the weapons they've fired into Israel, I wouldn't put it past them to take it all out.
Well, so here's the question for Israel and really the world. We can destroy their infrastructure to enrich uranium. There's one site left, but as long as the regime is in power, they'll rebuild it over time, and President Trump is not going to be president forever. So the question for the world, the largest state sponsor of terrorism is Iran under U.S. law. They have a policy to decimate Israel and to reshape the entire faith in a way to exclude us. Convert or die is their ideology. Wouldn't it be great for the people of Iran and the world if this regime went away? And people say, well, what will come next? Here's what I'm going to tell you. The guy in charge wants to kill all the Jews. He wants to kill us. They beat a young girl to death on a bus in Iran because she didn't cover her head. I'm willing to risk it won't be any worse than that guy. So the bottom line is I hope and pray that the Iranian people will know freedom. It will be up to them to take the regime down, but Israel will not tolerate living this way anymore. The Jews in Israel are oppressed by everybody around them. They have lived in fear. They have lived in an oppressive environment since its founding, October the 7th. Children were murdered. Women raped in front of their children. They've had it. They should have it. I'm tired of living this way. To our friends in Israel, do what you have to do to be safe. And they're making us safer. The people they're fighting want to kill us too. And to all these people sitting in the stands, second-guessing Trump, you have no idea what you're talking about. You would know the difference between a Sunni and a Shia than anything. So this is a religious theocracy. They're fanatics. They're dedicated to killing all the Jews and coming after us. They meant it when they say death to Israel, death to America. So I'm hoping and praying we take their nuclear program down. And if Israel wants to take the regime's ability to wage war down by destroying their refineries, destroying their ability to wage war, so be it.
Well, at that point, if the United States in a joint military operation helps take out this final nuclear facility, then it really comes down to the Israelis and how far they want to go. I don't think President Trump has not expressed any desire for regime change. He even identified that they know where the supreme leader is, but they're not going to kill him. But he did say, and he has said consistently for now decades, that they can't have a nuclear weapon. And that would be in the best interest of the United States. And at that point, the Israelis, I mean, after all that Iran has done to murder and rape, and you're right on October 7th, but it's an ongoing, never-ending, missile barrage funded by Iran and their proxies.
Well, so President Trump has told the Ayatollah, if you attack American bases or interests, that will be the end of you. That will be regime change if they come after our forces in the region. That will be the end of the Ayatollahs. But put yourself in Israel's shoes for a moment. What is the right response when people lob rockets consistently at civilian populations? They rage your country. They murder, rape children, women. They have people hostage. What would we do if a country sent one rocket in to America?
Well, I have to go. One rocket, I've been making the same argument. We would demand immediate military action. Senator Lindsey Graham, appreciate you being with us.